And on that note, we're live. Someone had a car take off there. Hi, folks, and welcome to A More Civilized Age. My name is Matt Wilkins, and with me today is some of our last big donors. Both of them you're very familiar with, which is why I saved them for last, because I don't care about them as much as I do the other people. Anyway, Christopher Nelson, of course, you guys know him. He is a regular, and basically I consider you a co-host to the show anyway, but you're one of our biggest donors, and so this is your big special moment here. Chris, thank you for coming back.
Yeah, great to be here, and very happy to contribute to the Billboard campaign.
And just to let you know, we may not be seeing Chris in the months to come because babies are soon to be on their way.
Yeah.
So he's about to become a very busy man. Believe me, I knew what that feels like. Also with me is Brian Borq. He, of course, is probably the best example of what an expanded universe fan should be, and I do mean that. Brian runs and he is president of the Twin Sons Foundation, a charitable organization that encourages children to read. By doing that, they donate books to schools and hospitals for kids. So, Brian, once again, you're no stranger to my channel, but thanks for being here.
Awesome to be here as always.
Yeah. And by the way, Brian, are there any updates on the Billboard that you would like to share, or maybe later?
Two Twin Sons updates.
Yes.
We do have first update for the primary purposes of what we do. We did have a book donation at a little free library in, I think it was Iowa, yesterday. I want to say it was 8 books. So more books donated. Awesome. And for the Billboard itself, we actually do have a date that we just announced on Sunday for when they're going up, and that will be April 6th next year.
That's going to be great. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Now, the reason why it's going to be a few months late, you explained as well, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on there. Obviously, we couldn't pay for it until we had the funds. Right. So they didn't want us to do a signed contract till that point. But more importantly, they told us something was available, and they were still doing construction on that one Billboard location when they were scheduled to put us up. So they had to delay it, and we wanted to keep them up at the same time. So next available is April 6th.
And that's fine. That's fine.
No, actually, we think it works out well because that'll be the 4th anniversary for when the original went up.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we thought that was good symmetry there.
All right. So one of the great things, and by the way, I've enjoyed every guest I've had on A More Civilized Age, to be honest.
They've been fun.
One of the things, it has been a lot of fun. And one of the things that I learned from it, and how I'm going to change the way all of these people have made me consider on how I'm going to change this show. Folks, before I had all these guests on here, I usually just told my co-hosts what we were going to talk about. I dictated what the questions would be, because who better to come up with questions than me? And while having all these guests on, I switched it up. I said, you guys come up with the topics. And not only did they come up with good topics, but these are topics that I want to talk about. And I never thought, I have a huge list of available questions for the next couple of months. But to be honest, of all the questions people ask me, I think only one of those was on my list that I was going to talk about. And I was like, that's incredible. And yeah, people have better insight than me. Now, there are some that Ryan and Chris gave that we're going to do for the next one, for next month in December, that I think I really do. I think they're fantastic questions. They're excellent questions. I can't wait to get to them. And so I think going forward, I'm going to have my co-host put together the questions, because yeah, I mean, it's just a different perspective, and I like that. I'm serious. I have really enjoyed all the questions we've had so far. Now, these 3 come from Brian. By the way, I should mention that Ryan Kendall was supposed to be here. He said he could make it this morning at way early his time. He said, oh no, I have somewhere better to go. It kind of hurt my feelings, but that's okay.
It's all right. Okay. It's all right. I expect him to answer my questions in the comments anyway. Well,
actually, you don't have to, because I talked to him and I have his answers here.
Oh, even better.
So I'm going to share his answers. But anyway, so your first question, and I'll read Ryan's last, but your first question was, you are force sensitive in the Star Wars galaxy. What group or organization would you like to be a part of? And if it applies, what era would you be in? in the Star Wars universe. So, Brian, since you asked the question, you're going to go first here. If you were Force Sensitive in the Star Wars galaxy, what group or organization would you belong to?
So I had to put some thought into this because I didn't want to go with the obvious answer of like the new Jedi Order under Luke. I chose instead to go with the Janissarii because I found they were kind of an interesting group that they don't have a lot of lore around them right now, but I would like to see expanded upon at some point in the future. But they're kind of on the light side, which I personally don't see myself being on the dark side at any point in time. But they also have some flexibility where the old Jedi Order didn't. And so I thought, Janissarii seemed like fun. Their armor kind of gives them a certain characteristic that the other groups don't necessarily have. The only thing I could not figure out right off the top of my head was what creature to style the armor after, if I were to do that. So something to think about in the future.
Okay, yeah, no, that's really, I like that answer. I like that answer. That came out of my answer is going to sound very generic. Let me go on and give it because I know Chris has a much better answer than me, and I don't want to end it because when you said that, I was like, oh well, mine is going to be very standard because I was thinking Jedi because my brain is not that creative, I guess. But I know what era it would be in, and it would be Luke's Academy, and I'd want it earlier, like before New Jedi Order. Because it seemed way more personable. You had more time with Luke Skywalker, and that's what I would have wanted. I couldn't be in that first wave, but I'd like to be in the second or third wave, with Corran Horn, with who else came later on? Kyle Katarn came later on to the Academy, as it's indicated. But the thing is, though, I would have loved to go in with those classes. Can you imagine that? Now a bunch of other people are coming in, you're entering with all these bigwigs, and you get one-on-one time with Luke. But
I'm also thinking about the things that are happening in the galaxy when you're in that group.
It's a dangerous time too, because eventually you're going to have to fight the Vong, and there's a good chance I could die later on. And that's true, and that'd be a scary time to be around. That's not a good era to be around if you think about it. But to have that one-on-one time with Luke, that meditation, that time on Yavin 4, and just those experiences that you would have with those Jedi. Because some of the legends were still coming through at that time. Who is Leia's master? Oh my gosh,
Saba.
Saba Sabatine was probably going through at that time too. So you have a bunch of great people that were, or Kenneth Hammer or something. They were going to come through and be great in the New Jedi Order. Well, now you're going to school with these people. It's like a class of champions. It's like before they were famous. School. And
that's
so
I almost went with that same answer.
I'd be taking hollow pics of me with all of them. I'd set up in some, restaurant in Coruscant and just show the pictures. Yeah, that's Kyle Katarn. That's he's Kyle. We called him Cut Up Kyle because he always farted and he made his fart blast. Have you ever seen a fart force blast? It is amazing. And talk about little things like that. Like dude. Me and Cam Sasalier used to, raid the girls' dorms every once in a while. I mean, there's a reason,
Served as great practice for hiding your presence in the Force.
There's a reason Mara hates me. Luke says, dude, come on. Do you have to be like that? Sorry, Luke. Lukey, baby. I'm sorry. I call him, and I would call him Sky Guy. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't call him Sky Guy.
That went too far.
Yeah.
That went too far.
But no, that's immediately what I went to because I'd like to see all those people, maybe even learn from Kip Duran. I don't know. I just would like to see those people and be in that time and era before it got too big. Remember, by the New Jedi Order, pretty soon Luke is having everyone else teach classes, and he's kind of the principal in a way.
And even the group I chose does like an exchange program with Luke's Academy when that's going on too. So I thought about that. I'm like, I could still get some of that New Jedi Order.
Oh, we would smash you in Force Ball. But no, you know what I mean? Though that to me, that's exactly where my mind went. So I know that seems generic now after what you said. But go ahead, Chris. What was your answer to this question?
Well, it's funny how both of you, yeah, you thought Force sensitive, but you didn't go to the dark side, right? And so I was thinking Jedi too, but then I kind of thought, I kind of brought me, Chris, into the right, and I kind of thought, well, what do I want to know more about? Well, I want to know more about the history of the Jedi, and I kind of at first I was sort of thinking self-deprecatingly, like, well, I'll be like one of the Jedi that doesn't quite know this. I'll be in the Agri Corps or something like that. But then I realized, you know what? No, here's the group I want to be in as a Force sensitive. I want to be a Jedi working in the Temple archives. Because
I thought about that too.
Right? And in terms of eras, it's like, I kind of thought, well, hey, I could be like in the New Republic Historical Archive. I could be in the Jedi Temple pre-Empire, right? And I even thought, then I started to think kind of like bad side of things, right? This isn't Force sensitive per se, but I thought, hey, why not be in Compnor? Then I can make sense of the Clone Wars, right? You know what I mean? Or at least understood what actually happened, right? So I want access to the knowledge.
Yep. No, that's exactly. I thought about that too. It's funny. Both of your answers are answers I thought about, and I'm like, gosh, I could do that. But what would I actually see myself wanting to be a part of?
Right.
Man, that I like that idea because you could be in the library with Jocasta Nu,
totally.
Their name.
Yeah.
And she would know everything, know where to go, know what books you would like to read. Don't go into the West Wing because it is forbidden. All Beauty and the Beast like. That's where the Sith stuff is. But the thing is, though,
if it isn't in the archives, then it doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, but that's a good idea because I am a history major, and that would actually be very interesting.
Yeah. And again, obviously, I'm bringing Chris Nelson into this too, and not some made up Force sensitive Jedi. But at the same time, I want to know who the Lost 20 are. We don't know.
That'd be interesting.
We never knew. We never knew.
Down the halls. And what's that?
We never knew. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, how many unsolved mystery. A couple, right? I mean,
Dooku, and then there was that other Sith, wasn't there? From a long time ago. I can't remember his name, but it was in
But they had
it was in Ryder Wenham's Jedi versus Sith source book, wasn't it? One of the Fallen. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. I probably wasn't it in that book?
Maybe
he names another one or two, or I want to say Jason Fry does them, but Jason Fry has other. I don't know.
It would be fun to figure this out because how many did we ever get to find out?
Not many. I want to say 3. That's with Dooku included, but
it kind of be like I'd love to know all of the different orders, right? So there's Order 66. We know a few of the other orders, but we don't know all. I mean, somewhere at some point, this is a fun gap for the EU to fill, right? So
No, and that's kind of where some of these questions came from. Was all right. Where do you see yourself inserting yourself, and more content can easily come from these answers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I have Ryan's answer here, and Ryan says it's a no-brainer. He would be one of the Kushiban, is what he said. Yeah, if you don't know, these are the Kushiban. They're the little rabbit people. He said he'd be one of these if he was Force sensitive because he'd want little children to pet him. Now I don't really know. Why?
That sounds like one of his answers.
He wants to be a cute, cuddly, fuzzy little Kushiban, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I mean, I'm not the one to judge because I was like, Kushiban. Wait, are you talking like the little Jedi bunnies? He's like, yeah, I mean, Force sensitive, right? I went, well, yeah, they're Force sensitive, Ryan, but he's like, yeah, they're cute, cuddly, and it must be a nice, warm, safe place to live on their planet. And I was like, all right, well, if you want me to say that, I will. So, I mean, that was his answer. I mean, don't kill the messenger, man. So, Ryan, I really wish you were here to defend it, but I'm just going to I'm stating it as it is, okay? Anyway, all right, so let's go to the next question here. It says, if you could live on one planet, this is Brian's next question, which is great too. You could live on one planet in the expanded universe. What planet and what era would you choose? Again, you're going with eras here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will go first since I'm the least creative on this, okay? Obviously, where am I going? I'm going to Endor. You guys know I'm going to Endor. I've got to go to Endor. I just love Ewoks. I can't help. I wanted to be something expanded universe. I really did try to go out of my way to say, no, I want to go see the Black Sands of Sakura or something,
Right.
I do not, but I could not say, no, I really want to go see Ewoks. I want to live among them. I want to be like, yeah, dude, let's go camping, man. Those are the ultimate camping people. I want to know if they poop. I just want to hang out with Ewoks. I think it's so much fun. The hang gliders, man, that'd be so much fun. And they just seem to have fun, and they know how to party. According to Wedge, right? From what was it? The Ewoks know how to party. So for me, it would just be a no-brainer. I'd love to see it. I think Endor is beautiful. Yes, it is the forest over the redwood forest over in California, which I told a friend of mine, Jeremy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions, that I do want to look at the redwood forest one day. I do want to go there because it just looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. That was one of the things. Just in Return of the Jedi, I just sat there going, "Wow, Endor's a great planet." Yeah, well, it's in the U.S. You can go visit it anytime you want. And he said it's full of something called banana slugs that you would step on everywhere. He said, so it's not really that nice. I went, don't destroy my image of what I think Endor's like. But I think I just would. I hate that I'm so generic in all my answers here.
That was a good answer.
Because I wanted to, well, yeah, for me, no. But I just the ingenuity and stuff they have, the weapons they have, I don't know, just the world. I grew up watching the Ewok movies like every week, I think, as a kid. So for me, it was just ingrained. And as a kid, I just imagined what it would be like to live on Endor. So it's been like, it's really like a childhood dream, something I've always wanted, but I should be picking something else, but I'm not there. So I want to get my boring answer out of the way. And Chris, what planet would you live on?
Well, by the way, point of order, Matt, Endor is not a planet. So I think we need a new answer from you.
Oh, I'm sorry. A moon of Endor. You were correct there. Ooh. Are you going to hold on, Brian, are you going to let that stand?
You know what? I think we'll let Chris go, but we're going to have to come back to you. He's right.
Okay. All right. Then come back to me. Go, Chris. Come back to me.
So it's funny. When I first heard this question, I was sort of like, I got this and the other one mixed up. So I was thinking, what planet would I want to be if I was force sensitive? Right. And at first I was kind of thinking generically too about like just pulling stuff out of the movies and stuff. But I kind of thought about something that harkens back to Dark Rendezvous, the book that a few episodes ago I embarrassingly admitted is my favorite.
That was incredible. That was an incredible admittance, but it was nice.
One of the interesting insights in that book is, look, like it's this contradiction, right? If the Jedi get their power from everything that's living, right, then why on earth are they in this city planet, right? And so Dagobah makes a lot of sense for like Yoda to retreat to. And I kind of thought, well, I'd probably want to be on Dagobah. Or, Endor would work too, right? In the sense that I'd want to be surrounded by living things and nothing mechanical, right? And so
something with a lot of life.
Yeah, exactly, right? But that said, if I take the force sensitive thing out of it, I think what I want to know more about is I want to be on a quiet planet, outer rim. I want to know and era wise, it maybe be like, hundreds of years before, say, the Battle of Yavin, because I'd want to be around in the Star Wars universe when there's no conflict. I want to know what it's like to be a regular person living in the Star Wars universe, right? That would be fascinating. So pick a random outer world planet from West End Games, right? You can name it, and I want to be there. One sort of just like deep cut EU trivia though that I wanted to kind of throw out was one other idea I had was Kashyyyk, like way back in the day, and this is the reason. Have you guys read Pax Empirica?
Yes,
right.
That is amazing.
It's a great, and it comes out of this. I think it's Battlegrounds.
Yes, Star Wars Battlegrounds, and it is an incredible short story.
Yeah.
An incredible short story.
And one of the most mind-blowing things about it, and this is like a deep-cut EU bar trivia sort of factoid, is that it suggests that Wookiees actually evolved from Banthas.
Really?
Right. That
yes.
The Trade Federation was carrying Banthas and they crashed, and they evolved from Banthas. And so I want
because they had to survive in a new environment.
And there's some sort of like fan theory that like there was some kind of like technology that like accelerated the growth or something of the species. But anyway, so my super deep cut nerdy EU response here is like, I want to be in Kashyyyk at the moment that ship crashes.
Well, in the KOTOR games, I think they reference that too.
Yes,
somewhat.
exactly.
I seem to recall that, like the accelerated growth, that was for the trees too. So it affected all flora and fauna on the planet.
That's right. Yep.
That's interesting. Interesting answer. I like that. I like that one.
All right, what's your answer, Brian?
Okay, so mine's influenced from the fact that it's appeared in 2 video games, to my knowledge, and that was Chandrila. It showed up. First time I came across it personally was in the X-Wing Rogue Squadron game, where you're escorting some hover train, and it just always seemed pretty to me. Like it was just kind of rolling grass hills like the whole way, very peaceful, aside from what you were actually doing in the game. And the other game it showed up in was Jedi Academy, I believe. And I guess it ties into a third game I played, which is SWTOR. And my main character in the SWTOR was the Jedi Consular. And in that story, you become the Barsen Thor of the Jedi Order. And he's actually entombed, or they are actually entombed on Chandrila. So I had like a lot of connections to it without actually obviously living there at all. But it also seemed like a good climate. And most eras, it doesn't really have a lot of strife or hardship. They're kind of, very democratic, and they have a kind of a symbiotic relationship with nature. They don't let their population go out of control. I think the only time they came in danger of that was actually during the Vong invasion, when they were taking in refugees like crazy. But that's about it. Yeah, I would go with Chandrila.
Okay, I have, looking over this, I have 2. Well, no, probably just, I don't know. Onderon was one I was going to go for because of Tales of the Jedi and the long history it has, and probably be an archaeologist on Onderon. Is what
that'd be interesting.
What would basically, that seems to be the one that interests me the most. The other one I'm not even. I mean, Korea would be fun because they have spicy food there. I love spicy food. Naboo is always nice this time of year. I mean, there's places like that, but I think I'm going to go with Onderon because I'm going to take back the history, the historian question that Chris had. I'm going to use it for this question. I am a historian. I'm an archaeologist on Onderon. That's what I want to do.
Interesting. I thought about Onderon, and I thought about Dantooine, actually, because I kind of like Dantooine. It's very similar to Chandrila, and the reasons why I liked it.
Dantooine. Okay.
Just
go ahead.
Movies. Obviously, like, I want to be on Alderaan. Like the 3 seconds we saw of it, it looked gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen it in SWTOR. It looks beautiful in there.
It definitely pops up elsewhere in the EU, but it's like, it's definitely an unexplored place. And in terms of like, on the era, that might be a fun, peaceful place to end up, right? True. By the way, Naboo always felt weird, particularly food. And I know it's an artifact of like the fact that in Phantom Menace, it's like under attack and stuff. So it's like everyone's fled, but doesn't it feel kind of, the whole planet feels kind of sterile to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get that. I can see that. A
little bit, yeah.
Well, I got Ryan's answer here.
Okay.
Ryan said Zeltros. You know why? Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he just walk around Zeltros with his little shirtless, sleeveless tees, and I guess
you think he'd have any of those after a while?
Well, no, and I hear pants are optional in Zeltros too. So I don't know. I mean, I know where Ryan wants me to go with this answer, but I'm not going to go there, Ryan, because I just don't think like that. But I mean, Ryan said Zeltros all day, every day, because what happens on Zeltros stays in Zeltros. That's all he said. And pink is his favorite color. I don't know. It's just, I wish he was here to kind of justify this answer, because I don't see any benefit. I mean, I know, well, we all know one benefit about loading on Zeltros, but I don't see any long-term benefit there. I mean, production-wise, thinking, as a career enhancing your knowledge, we want to be better people when we go to these planets, not just whatever. That's what I get for having him answer these questions. Anyway, I apologize for Ryan's answer there, folks. All right, so let me get to the third question here. If if you were told, this is a very interesting one. If you were told to cross Star Wars with a TV show, what TV show would you choose and why? Now, Brian, I'm going to have to bounce. No, you know what? I'm going to go with Chris this time. We haven't gone with Chris first on one.
This would be impossible to merge in terms of like the various universes you would need. What I would want to do is take the idea of a show and merge.
Right, take the concept.
Yeah. And it would be X-Files.
Okay.
And it could go in a couple different directions, right? Like it could be, I'm trying to think, it could be a couple years after the rise of the Empire, and you've got some people who are trying, maybe like they've already forgotten what the Jedi are, right? And they're trying to figure out what weird things that are happening, right? Or you could put it in almost any era, and you could put it really far back in like with Joe Bongiorno stuff on the Supernatural, right? They're trying to figure out what's going on or whatever, right? So basically, yeah, a team of maybe non-force sensitive folks who are just trying to figure out some of the truly weird things happening. Yeah.
Very interesting. I like that answer.
That is a very good answer.
By the way, and I said Joe Bongiorno because if you go on his site, like he not only does Star Wars stuff, he does X-Files stuff. So,
okay.
Well, Joe, I was about to say Joe Bongiorno would agree with you with that question. That is exactly how I'd answer the question. Because Joe likes the unknown, the unexplored, the strange phenomena. In fact, that's basically what his book is about, is exploring that strange phenomena. So I know he would just be totally on board.
So you set it on some planet near the unknown regions with all this weird stuff happening.
Well, all the ins and outs, the monkey with the skull face, from the old UK comic strip or whatever. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what he's called now. The Death Monkey. I don't remember what that's not what it's called. But anyway, what is he called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The thing is, the odd, the unknown, the Alan Moore comic books,
Oh, yeah.
That's the stuff that he really liked. The Celestials. We don't know much about them. Let's explore them more. A little X-File this. That's a good one. Mine is a big game hunting channel where they take you on these big safaris. You're going to go after a crate dragon on Tatooine. Yeah. You're going to go after a Rancor on Dathomir. A big one, a real one, not a baby like we saw in Return of the Jedi. So this way you get to see some of the biggest, baddest beasts in the universe, and it would have a lot of action in it because they'd be trying to take down these dangerous animals from all sorts of planets. And there's a plethora of planets, a plethora of big gaming hunting, big game hunting you could have. And that to me would be exciting. It wouldn't have I don't think it'd get old. The storyline wouldn't get old. You'd have a great adventure, and it'd be set like a real. You were talking like a TV show, but the TV show would be focused on just a farce, basically. Hey, big game hunting in the universe here. I'm so and so, and just have maybe an alien host with a bunch of other a crew. Every once in a while, just like in a TV series, someone may die. Someone may die during this, and they have to do it. And so it's filmed almost like a documentary in a way. But the same, because he's taking time to show you what they have to prepare to go after this beast and whatever. And there's scenes of them fighting the beast. I don't know. To me, I think that'd make a great TV show and something I'd be very interested in. You could hop all around the world, and it's not good versus evil. It's not Jedi versus Sith. It doesn't have anything to do. You could have a Jedi appear every once in a while in it, or someone have some force sensitivity on his crew. But you don't have Empire and Rebellion. It's totally off the beaten path, but still something interesting. So definitely. I hope that's an answer you were looking for.
No, that's
the most original. Like that's the most original I've been on any of these answers right now. I'm proud. I'm proud. The other two I wasn't proud about. This one I'm proud about. Proud about this answer.
Matt, okay, you're not a huge reference book guy, but do you have the wildlife? Like the wildlife.
You know what? I knew you were going to ask me that. I have. Which one is it? The Beast one. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's one I'm missing. I realized I was missing it when I was looking for my armor choice. I was like, I can't find it.
Hold on. I have one of the Kevin J. Anderson. Kevin J. Anderson did a whole list of those.
Yeah.
Didn't he do one on Beast and thing? I don't know. Maybe I need to get that Flora and Fauna one. What was that one called again?
That's the one I was looking for. I couldn't find. It's like the Essential Guide to Flora and Fauna, was it, or the Galaxy?
No, it's something like a Scout's Guide. What was it?
Scout's
Chris?
Guide.
Well, I'm trying to
remember?
There might be something else that you're thinking of.
No, you're right. Because it was a green book, right?
It's a green book, yeah. And I think it's called. God, now I'm trying to remember again.
I don't have that one because I thought, well, I already have one.
Because there were a series of these.
Well, there's a bunch of those, right? But this wasn't an essential guide. I think it's literally called Wild. I'm just going to look it up right now. Wildlife of Star Wars or something.
Interesting.
Star Wars Wildlife. Yeah, I don't have that, and maybe I should get that. Maybe I should look into that again because I skipped on it the first time. And let me see. Yeah, the Wildlife of Star Wars, a field guide.
Yep, exactly.
That's
it's
it.
Companion to your show, yeah.
So that's a good one. You have that one?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Maybe I should go ahead and get that.
Sold.
Yeah, maybe so. Because I yeah. Probably so. Universe guys. What will happen? Okay. I can't remember why I didn't get this a long time ago, but I think I had another source book that was similar. But this one seems I don't know. I'll give this one a second look. Good deal. All right.
Awesome.
All right. So whose turn is it? Brian's turn, right?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me your answer.
So I don't have any one good answer to this. I have several ideas though, which should be interesting.
You came up with the question.
I know, but
you're supposed to have the best answer of us all.
This question came out of a conversation with a friend of mine, and there were so many good ideas mentioned. I can't just not say them. So I'm going to go with the one that immediately came to mind first, and then I'll just tell you the rest of them. I think in 1997, there was a fan film done that kind of encouraged this idea, made in the same style as the show Cops, and it was called Troops. And it followed the Imperial.
I saw that. I used to watch that. I watched that once. It is hilarious.
It's hilarious. So I figured, hey,
that popped up on my YouTube feed today.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So now that was the quick answer to this one, but some other ideas that came to mind. You think like do MASH during the Clone Wars or something, or you do like same on the medical line. You go like House. During the Krytos virus or something on Coruscant. You can do, I don't know if you guys have seen Burn Notice or not, but you got some ex-Intel agents that just went through something similar to like what Burn Notice did to that guy. Or the best idea, well, we're going to forget that I had this idea, but some sort of cooking show because I just finished watching the holiday special and
oh, man.
I was like, all right, that hurts. Next idea, you cross House Hunters with, the galaxy far, far away. And, you go, she's a droid maintenance clerk and he's a moisture farmer and their budget's 20 billion credits. Yeah, you can do all sorts of fun stuff, I think.
That's cool.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a good answer. I'm embarrassed to read Ryan's answer, but I told him I would. He wanted me to read this one because he got really excited about this one, and it ties into an earlier answer he gave. He said, actually, this ties into all three now. He's wrapping it all up. He wants it to star a Kushiban, one of the little fuzzy bunnies, on the planet Zeltros.
Okay.
And be like the girls next door, the old Hugh Hefner TV show. That's what he wants. He wants a Kushiban with three Zeltrons and kind of going through their life together as they all live together.
I'm sure it would sell.
It's really I don't know if he's trolling me on these answers or not, but I think he is serious about this because he said, that the girls next door was something he always imagined him with blonde hair living with Hugh. He said growing up, and so that that now you gave this question. He said, well, I think it'd be awesome to have a Kushiban with three Zeltrons, and make it the girl next door kind of like that. Just call it the Kushiban next door or something. Gotcha. I don't know.
At this point, I'm regretting asking any questions.
I'm sorry, Brian. I thought he would take them a little bit more seriously. I didn't know these were going to be his answers, but there. I mean, and to be honest, if Ryan were here, he'd amen all of this. I mean, because it came straight from him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Don't even accuse me of making this up, okay?
Wouldn't imagine.
Because you can't make this up. Who picks a Kushiban for crying out loud? Anyway, Ryan does.
Apparently.
That's what he does. All right.
Apparently.
All right. Well, as always, I have a fun question here for my panel, and since Thanksgiving is around, I can't believe it's right around the corner now.
Right here.
What is your favorite thing on the Thanksgiving table? And is there something odd that your family makes that most people don't for Thanksgiving? Like my wife's family, they do like everything. They don't do turkey. They do not do turkey for Thanksgiving. Turkey is off the books because they all don't like turkey. And I was like, what? So, and I cooked a ham one time for them. They said, we don't like ham either. I was like, what do y'all do? We do fried chicken. Fried chicken.
Okay.
Wow. The tradition just keeps going on and on. But anyway, so I'll go ahead and answer it first. I love stuffing. I love stuffing. I love the dressing or stuffing, whatever you want to call it. I love it, man. Smother it in gravy. I could eat stuffing all day. It's my favorite part. I mean, I also like to break off a little bit of the turkey and mix it in with the stuffing too. In our family, we don't use real cranberries. We get the cranberries from the can, and Mom quarters them. And it's like, so there's little gelatin cubes is what they are, and we love them. There's not a single one left standing in that big bowl, but she just takes it from the can. It's still got the can marks on the outside when she quarters it and everything, and just as is, because don't mess with it. One time she tried to make real cranberries, and we didn't want to eat that. We were like, what is this? So we like it in the can, sliced, where it's so lazy, but that's what we love when it comes to cranberries. I think that's our odd family thing we have. But the thing I love is stuffing. So let's see, Brian.
So I'm not a huge fan of turkey myself, although I will say my family.
Really? Okay, I gotta take back then. I guess my wife's not that weird. If y'all.
No, well, I'm a fairly picky eater, so maybe we're both just weird. But we do fried turkey now, which I tend to like a little bit better. But the one thing we do is called flank steak. It's like a very thinly diced steak that's marinated for like 24 hours. I can't remember what they marinated in. Yeah, it's very good. We usually do that for Thanksgiving dinner, and we actually also do it for Christmas dinner. It's kind of like our holiday meal. It's very, very tasty, and it's just impossible to cut with the butter knives that are always on the table.
Wow. Interesting. All right, Chris.
Stuffing's great. So is like a classic pile of like hot mashed potatoes with like a little butter on top, and then kind of comes like a little water slide, kind of goes down. Yeah. I kind of feel Close Encounters, and I'm playing with my mashed potatoes, right? I love a lot of that. But actually, my birthday's around that time of the year, and actually every couple of years or so, my birthday's on Thanksgiving. Oh, so wow. That's traditionally always been like when I go back home. And so actually, there's usually like a birthday cake. I mean, so Thanksgiving's really, from my family's always been kind of my birthday, right? So
everybody's giving thanks for your presence on this.
That's planet. Exactly right. I associate it more with that than really any kind of traditional holiday fare or anything. Yeah.
Interesting. So birthday cake on Thanksgiving. That's interesting.
That's awesome. Ryan's answer was he eats candy corn on Thanksgiving, which is kind of weird. I guess it's left over from Halloween, but he's a big candy. Regardless of what you may have heard, he's a huge candy corn fan. So
he tries to emphatically deny it, but I think that's just all the more convincing that he actually quite enjoys it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what he told me. I probably shouldn't have revealed it. He said, full confidentiality here, Matt. I really do love candy corn. I eat it every Thanksgiving. I was like, really? He said, yeah. I just buy it when it's on clearance sale, and we eat it at Thanksgiving. I was like, oh wow, that's really nice. So. Anyway, I'm sorry he couldn't be here tonight, but I'm glad he was able to provide us some answers. Chris, Brian, thank you so much for being on the show. Brian, you're always on the show, but thanks for coming back on. And Brian, first, to me, thank you so much for everything that you do, not only with Twin Sons, but folks, Brian is the real person who gets behind and makes the Billboard happen. Okay? By the way, Chris helped out in a big way, too, by writing
he did our press release language that we sent out to the 600 contacts that we had ahead of time. He was responsible for that language, which was awesome.
So he helped out too. So guys, thank you so much, and Brian, thank you so much for all your hard work and getting this Billboard set up. I'm really happy we're doing it.
Wouldn't do it without fans like yourselves. So
Right. Well, all right, folks. So that is it for now. We will see you next time on A More Civilized Age.